Well, it's finally here after weeks of delay. This is the AYN Thor, the dual screen Android handheld that just might be the 3DS successor we've all been waiting for. For months, the community has been buzzing about this device, a clamshell that promises to blend that classic, nostalgic design with some seriously modern power. AYN has a solid reputation, but a dual screen device is completely different ballgame. Can it really capture and maybe even improve upon the magic of DS and 3DS? In this video, we're doing a full unboxing. I'll give you my first impressions on the build and ergonomics. And of course, we're gonna fire up some games to see how it handles its main mission, dual screen emulation. So enough talk, let's get right into it. This is Mix Guy. Okay, AYN has always nailed their packaging, and the Thor is no exception. It's a clean, minimalist lift-top box that has a nice heft to it. There's no crazy branding, just a simple, sleek presentation that really builds the hype. Lifting the lid, you're greeted by the device itself tucked securely in a form-fitting tray. That's a fantastic first impression. Let's set the main event aside for just a second and see what other goodies are hiding in there. Underneath the tray, you find the usual suspects for a device like this. That's a nice, high-quality USB-C charging cable. Always appreciate that. And a small packet with the instruction manual and a warranty card. I also bought the $50 accessories, which is a lot of discounts for what you get. We'll test out all of them soon, especially the TPU grip, as I've heard it makes a world of difference for comfort during longer gaming sessions. But for now, let's get to what we've all been waiting for. And here it is, the AYN Thor. Picking it up, the first thing you notice is that is unmistakably a tribute to the Nintendo 3DS XL. It has the classic clamshell shape so many of us are nostalgic for, and it has some real density to it, around 380 grams. But it doesn't feel heavy, just solid and well built. My model is a Pro Clear Purple, and the outside has this great feeling matte finish that doesn't attract fingerprints. The inside, however, is all gloss around the screens. While it looks sleek, I have a feeling this is going to be a total fingerprint magnet, which is a minor bummer. The hinge is a make or break for any clamshell, and I'm happy to report this one feels great. It's robust, closes with a satisfying snap, but is smooth enough to open with one finger. It has 3 different lock-in positions, giving you some flexibility for viewing angle. There's no wobble at all. It feels like it's built to last. When it's closed, there's a slight gap, but the screen rests on tiny rubber pads, so nothing is rattling around. Now, let's talk about these screens because they are the stars of the show. Up top, we have a gorgeous 6-inch 1080p AMOLED display with a buttery smooth 120Hz refresh rate. And down below, a 3.92-inch AMOLED touchscreen, is it? And down below, a 3.92-inch AMOLED fudge. And down below, a 3.92-inch AMOLED screen, which runs at 60 Hz. Firing it up, wow, just wow. These displays are absolutely stunning. The colors are incredibly vibrant, and the blacks are perfectly inky. just as you'd expect from OLED. It makes old handhelds with their LCD screens look like toys by comparison. This is going to make retro games look better than they ever have before. Taking a quick tour of the controls, AYN made some smart choices here. The device is decked out with Hall effect analog sticks and triggers. For anyone who doesn't know what that means, they use magnets for movement detection, which basically eliminates the potential for stick drift down the line. A massive win for durability and precision. The sticks themselves are a bit more recessed than I'm used to, but they feel smooth and have L3 and R3 clicks. The face buttons and the D-pad are clicky, responsive, and feel very familiar if you've used other AYN devices, like my Portal. The shoulder buttons are stacked with L2 and R2 being proper triggers to handle modern games. Ergonomically, it feels pretty comfortable, but its flat, rectangular shape can get a little awkward without the optional grip. For quick play sessions, it's totally fine, but for longer, more intense gaming, I can see my hands starting to cramp. I have a feeling that the TPU grip that I bought might go from optional accessory to essential gear really quick. On the bottom, you've got your USB-C port, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and stereo speakers. The device also has a built-in vibration motor and an active cooling system with a fan on the back to keep things running smoothly, and it seems very quiet so far. Here's a quick listen on the fans. This is in smart mode. In sports mode. This is in customize max mode. I will put the device near the mic so we can hear it clearly. In smart mode. In sports mode. In customize max mode. When you power on the Thor, you'll start with the typical startup for all AYN products. You have to really be patient with this and make sure that you are pressing the right one. If there are updates, make sure to always do it because there are always fixes for any bug and other improvements. Alright, moment of truth. Let's check out the software. The Thor is running a customized version of Android 13. And if you've ever set up an Android phone, you know the drill. It's quick and painless. You're greeted with the AYN's launcher, which is clean and gaming focused, but you can of course swap it out for something like ESDE or Jigeshow or any console launcher as you prefer. I really love the ESDE. When you do so, make sure to update to the latest version because it has a dual screen support and other fun features. One of the killer software features is the AYN control panel, which you can pull up with a dedicated button. This overlay lets you tweak performance, modes, fan speed, brightness, and other key settings in the middle of a game. No exit required. It's an incredibly handy tool for balancing power and battery life. Now, a dual-screen Android device brings some unique software puzzles. How does the OS juggle two displays? AYN seems to have thought this through. You can multitask by running a game on top screen and the YouTube guide on the bottom, which is genuinely awesome. However, It's not always a perfect plug and play situation, especially with emulators. You'll probably need to spend some time in the emulator settings to map the screens correctly, telling it which screen is top and which is bottom. It's a little bit of tinkering, but honestly, that's part of the fun with a unique open platform device like this. Okay, but this is the reason we're all here, right? How does the AYN Thor actually handle Nintendo DS and 3DS emulation? This is its whole purpose. I loaded up a few classics starting with the DS title. Using the right emulator, which for me is the Melon DS that has support for dual screen, the experience is just phenomenal. The game instantly splits across the two screens and it feels completely natural. The bottom touchscreen is sharp and responsive, and those AMOLED panels give everything a pop and clarity the original hardware couldn't even dream of. It's a little surreal seeing these games look so clean. Next up, a heavier 3DS title. 3DS emulation is known for being demanding, but this is where the Thor's power really flexes. The model that I have is the Beast with Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and a 12 GB of RAM, though there are other configurations with 8 GB or 16 GB of memory as well. And the performance is just beautiful. Games run silky smooth without a hint of lag or stutter, even when you upscale the resolution. Playing a game like Monster Hunter Ultimate on these displays is a game changer. The colors just explode off the screen. The motion is fluid, and you honestly forget you're even on an emulator. This is hands down the best I have ever seen these games look. Of course, the Thor is more than just a DS and 3DS machine. That powerful hardware means it will chew through just about any other retro system you throw at it. PlayStation 2 and GameCube emulation is fantastic with enough horsepower to upscale resolutions for a much sharper image than you ever got on original hardware. Even some more demanding systems like the Wii U and a few lighter Switch titles run surprisingly well, though as always, your mileage will vary depending on the game and how mature the emulators are. But look, this isn't just one trick pony for emulation. It's a seriously powerful Android gaming device in its own right. I fired up Genshin Impact, a notoriously tough game to run, and got an average of 80 FPS with a mix of medium and high settings. For a game like Asphalt 9 Legends, you can crack it to a very high settings and expect a rock solid 60 FPS and up. The Hall effect sticks and triggers give you a precise console quality experience that's a world away from using a phone with a controller clip. The device is also a streaming monster. Whether you're on GeForce Now, Xbox Game Pass, or streaming from your own PC with an app like Moonlight, the Thor's Wi-Fi 6 connectivity and that vibrant 6-inch screen make it a perfect way to play your PC library from anywhere in the house. Okay, so after my first few days with the Thor, here's a quick rundown of the pros and cons as I see them. Pros on my right and cons on my left. On the pro side, the dual AMOLED screens are drop dead gorgeous. They are a massive upgrade over the originals and make every single game look incredible. The performance from the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is absolutely top tier, crashing high-end emulation and native Android games without breaking a sweat. The Hall effect sticks and triggers are a premium touch that guarantees precision and a long, drift-free life. And finally, that clamshell design, both wonderfully nostalgic and super portable, making it an amazing on-the-go machine. On the con side, that glossy interior is a fingerprint nightmare and can be a little distracting under direct light. The ergonomics without the optional grip could be an issue for some during long play sessions. And while it has a big 6000 mAh battery, you can expect it to work pretty hard when you're pushing demanding games on both screens. So what's the initial verdict? Honestly, I'm blown away. The AYN Thor feels like a true spiritual successor to the 3DS, blending the form factor we all loved with the raw power we always wished it had. It's not a gimmick. It's a genuinely powerful and versatile handheld that nails its primary mission. Of course, this is just a first look. I've got so much more to test, from deep dive battery analysis to pushing the limits of every emulator I can find. That's why I'm working on a full in-depth review video. So if you want to see just how far this thing can go, you know what to do. Get subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss a thing. But I want to know what you think. What are your first impressions of the AYN Thor? Is this the dual screen handheld you've been waiting for? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Look, the AYN Thor has made one hell of a first impression. It absolutely delivers on its promise of a premium dual screen experience, mixing that nostalgic design with modern muscle in a way that feels both familiar and totally new. While it has a few small quirks like the glossy interior and the fact that you'll probably want a grip for max comfort, those are easily overpowered or overshadowed by the pure joy of playing DS and 3DS games on these incredible displays. AYN hasn't just made another handheld, they've set a new bar for what a dual screen emulation device can be. This is easily one of the most exciting pieces of kit to land in the handheld world this year. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for full review. Peace out.